Three, two, one. Hello, friends. Janky here, and welcome to another episode of Hanging with Janky. It's been another week, friends, and it was a pretty exciting-ish week for me. Yes, lots of E3 stuff that I've been watching with Super Antlers and others. Absolutely delightful. I love watching all that sweet new content roll out. And I tried pho for the first time this week. Not pho, pho. Japanese, not Japanese. Oh my god, I'm ruining this. I tried pho, which is a Vietnamese soup made of rice noodles and a protein of your choice. Actually, it was just beef, because that's what they did. Beef and meatballs and bean sprouts and basil, and you had the option of like sriracha and soy. It was amazing. Oh my goodness. As someone who struggles to find things that I like at any Asian restaurant, like at all, Japanese, Chinese, any kind, I'm just like, I don't know what to eat here. Pho is beautiful and amazing. I love it. Pho. But let's get around to it, shall we? Because there's lots to talk about today. This week is all about wrapping up E3. Don't worry, this isn't like a comprehensive review of everything that happened at E3. It would be much longer if it were. I'm just going to talk for a bit about things that were either interesting to me or things that I'm excited to see. Not to mention that as part of Quickfire news, I'll be wrapping up some of the titles that got revealed at E3. It's super exciting stuff. So, before we get to that, let's do channel talk and sub thanks, because we got new subs to thank, and we got to do it. So, let's get to it. Rhyme schemes. Boom, boom, boo, yashaka. Let's go. Okay, so, first up, let's talk about some of the stuff that got up on the channel. There are two videos that I want to tell you guys about. First of all, the impressions video that I did, which has gotten probably the most views in a short time span that I think I've ever seen on a video. I'm so glad you guys liked it. I might be doing another one soon as part of a new series that I'll talk about here in a second, but I'm so glad you guys liked it. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do, because it was pretty fun to make, and I'm so glad about all the positive response I've got back on it, so thank you guys for that. Also, this week was the 250 sub special video. As you may know, if you are a frequent watcher on the channel, we recently hit 250 members of the Jank Squad. That's right, 250 friends up in here, party hard, party hard. So I did a challenge video. I know that sounded super unexcited, but I apologize. That's just like my level. Anyway, I did an ice bath, and I ate jalapenos, and I did a charcoal mask. I did none of those three things well, but I did them all together. So, like, they were like a third a piece, and then they came together to form a whole video. Whatever. Anyway, a lot of positive response back on that, too. Thank you all for joining the channel. I'm so glad to have y'all here, and I'm glad that you like my content. So, definitely check that out if you haven't yet already. My thank you to you. Yes. As for what's coming up on the channel, we got a few things. Janky's Lab, of course, as always. Then we will also have a new series that I'm working on. Tentative title, Trending with the Jank Squad, where I get suggestions for videos from you guys and then do the suggestions. I'll also probably be using my Janky Ask questions, since you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, I ask a ton of those and I get responses back and I don't do anything with it, so I'll probably be doing something with that as well as part of this series. And just like general trends that are happening in the universe. We'll talk about trends, we'll talk about trendy videos, we'll do all sorts of fun stuff, and that'll be us coming together and making something cool together. So I'm excited for that, and I hope you guys are too. Other than that, you know, just the usual stuff and things and stuff, gaming content and whatnot. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave that. Just for you. Enjoy that. Let's move on to sub thanks, shall we? Because we got subs to thank this week. So we're up to 259 subscribers on the channel, which is awesome, and we had some super cool people sub this week, so let's give some shoutouts to them, shall we? Starting with the Dainty Destroyer, also known on Twitter as Nikki. This is her gaming channel, and she is just an absolute delight. a Scottish delight. I think she's Scottish. I hope that I'm not wrong, Nikki. You can correct me if I am. But she's cool. You can check her out. 123 subs on her channel right now. Definitely go check her out. And thank you, Nikki, for being a part of the Jank Squad. Keep doing you. Word up. Yo. I'm sorry. Also joining up with the Jank Squad this week, we got Phil Krill, the Krill. Also, gaming content creator and live streamer on the YouTubes. Super cool guy, very funny, fun to talk to on live stream, and also sends out some hilarious tweets. So definitely go check him out. He has 612 subscribers on his channel right now. Totally awesome dude. Keep doing you, Phil, and thank you so much for joining up with the Jank Squad. And last but certainly not least this week, we have Shauna, a delightful Irish gamer girl who also does gaming content on the YouTubes. Check her out. And thank you so much, Shauna, for joining the Jank Squad. Happy to have you on board. And keep doing you. Keep being awesome and amazing and unique as an individual, as I'm sure you are. Thank you so much. And that is all the subs I have to thank for this week. So, if I happen to miss you, I apologize. I will try to work you in to next week's Hanging with Janky sub thanks. I apologize for missing you. But I do send my thanks to you. And all 259 subscribers to the channel, thank you all for being a part of the Jank Squad and being here with me and liking and commenting and talking with me and being on the Twitters with me and just being chill. You know, just being chill. Just even seeing you guys like interacting with each other on Twitter is just an absolute delight. I love having you all. And thank you so much. I hope you continue to enjoy the content in the future. Thank you so much for being a part of the Jank Squad. Love you. Alright, all that mushy mush out the way, so let's start talking about gaming news, shall we? Starting with Quickfire news. That's right, there's a lot of content to cover this week, so let's get through some of it in Quickfire news. Yes! It'll be amazing. Let's go. Pumped. 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 I apologize for that. Let's start off Quickfire news by talking about IO Interactive, which is now an independent studio, but they've retained that Hitman IP, so hopefully we'll be able to see more Hitman from them in the future. Looking forward to that. Speaking of indie games, we have Little Nightmares, the hit indie horror game, which is getting its own TV show directed by the Russo brothers, which is the directing team behind Captain America Winter Soldier, a hit movie. What will they do with it? Who knows, but it's something to look out for in the future. Hey, if you like indie games, maybe you want to go to PAX West, that hit indie gaming convention. Well, badges are on sale, but they're also sold out. Sorry for hyping it. Speaking of gaming conventions, there were lots of announcements at E3. Let's talk about some of them, starting with the CEO of Atari announcing that Atari is making a new console, the Atari Box. What games will it have? Will it succeed? Will it fail? I don't know the answers to these questions. I literally just know they're releasing a new console. But hey, after a decade or two out of the business, it'll be interesting to see what their console has to offer. Speaking of sweet things making a comeback, Insane Trilogy coming out soon, and Coco will be a playable character. That's right. Crash's sweet hacking sister will be a playable character in all 3 of the games. You can play as Crash or you can play as Coco. Coco's the boss, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that in the future. Talking more on gaming releases at E3, we have a new Metro game coming out, which looks sweet. The Prompto DLC has gotten a release date, which is June 27th, later this month, so that's super exciting. Cuphead, the sweet 1930s side-scrolling boss shooter game, has finally gotten a release date in September 29th, which I'm super excited for. There's a sweet pixelated 3D indie game thing. That's a terrible descriptor, but it's called The Last Night. Definitely check it out. It looks like it's going to have a boss story, and I'm super excited for it. Ori and the Blind Forest is getting a sequel called Ori and the Well of Wishes, which looks kicking and amazing. Speaking of sequels, Life is Strange Before the Storm, which is actually a prequel to the Life is Strange story, focusing on Chloe, is looking awesome. Unfortunately, Ashley Birch, due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, will not be voicing Chloe, but I have heard rumor around the internet that she is on the team as a story advisor, so hopefully we'll still get some Ashley Birch Chloe flavor in there. Also, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, was shown off. I'm not a huge fan of the Wolfenstein series just because I've never like played any of the Wolfenstein games before, but this one looks awesome, so definitely look out for that. Also, Dishonored 2 will be getting some DLC called The Death of the Outsider, which sounds super noir, dark, and awesome. Can't wait to see more from that in the future. And also, Microsoft showed off Anthem, which is its Destiny 2-esque game. It's looking kicking and awesome. There were so many game reveals, and I won't be talking about them all today, but those are ones that super stood out to me. So, that's all I got for Quickfire News this week. Alright, slowing things down and talking about some of the other content that was shown off at E3, let's start with EA, which didn't honestly have a lot to show. I'm gonna be real. They had two big things that look super awesome. First of all, a new indie title from the makers of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which was, by all accounts, an amazing indie game. They are creating a prison escape game called A Way Out, which just looks super cool. What makes this game look so interesting is that, first of all, you have to play it with a friend, it's co-op only, but also, you are both on screen all the time. The entire thing is made in this split screen style, this dynamic split screen style, where you can always see what the other's doing, and maybe they're in a cutscene, and maybe you have to do something during that cutscene, so one person's in a cutscene and the other person's moving around, and it's just interesting and dynamic and awesome. And I can't wait to see more from that game, so I'm definitely watching out for that. Also, EA took the time to show off Battlefront 2, which looks pretty good, although from what I've heard from other Battlefront players, the general multiplayer mode kind of looks the same as Battlefront 1, maybe with some improvements. I don't know. I've never played Battlefront 1, so I don't have a lot to say on it, but it definitely looks like something to maybe check out if you're a fan of the Battlefront series, maybe. There is definitely a single-player campaign mode, which is a huge thing that they added. They didn't go into it much at the show, which is unfortunate. You'd figure, since that was like the big selling point, they would have shown off a little bit of it, but yeah, that is what it is. But Battlefront was another sort of highlight of the EA show, kind of. Then we had the Microsoft show, which showed off a huge range of games. A lot of those ones that I mentioned in Quickfire News came from the Microsoft show, and there were ones that I didn't even mention, like the Artful Escape. There were other titles in there. They showed off a huge range. Weeb Dark Souls called Code Vein. Oh my gosh, they just showed off a huge range, and there were tons that I didn't mention, which is a shame because they all looked pretty kickin'. But let's talk more about the Microsoft conference, shall we? So of course they started off with hard-hitting Scorpio, which is the new Xbox, which is actually known as Xbox One X because the initials are Xbox. You could say that it's come full circle. 360, if you will. Terrible puns aside, they really hit that console hard at the beginning of the conference. Then they were able to just step aside and show off a huge range of awesome looking games. Granted, all of them had 4K and Xbox console exclusive written on them because, of course, it's like, okay, it's that thing that I actually mentioned last week where a lot of people complain that the Xbox doesn't have enough exclusive titles, so they just like hammered us with exclusive titles, which is fine because they all look super cool. And it was interesting. But they showed off more of Assassin's Creed Origins, which looks awesome, and it's releasing in October 27th. A lot of people said that it looks a lot like The Witcher. It's very Witcher-esque, which, I mean, Witcher 3 was hugely popular for its open story and just the ability to do like whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. Breath of the Wild was a lot like that too, so I think that's sort of a trend in gaming right now, which is super cool. Because I love that style. It takes forever to beat the game, but I love that style. And so it's cool to see that they're playing into that. So hopefully this Assassin's Creed will be really good. I know if you've been watching on Twitter, I trashed it a lot during the conference, but that's just because it's fun for me to make like really snarky tweets during E3. If you like Assassin's Creed, I think Origins will probably be a really good game for you. Also, apparently the Bethesda Party was kicking. They set up their entire thing like Bethesda Land, like that map that they tweeted, and there were drinks and food and pins for like all the different areas of Bethesda Land, and everyone was like super drunk, and partying hard, and apparently it was just delightful. So if you were at the Bethesda party, apparently it was kicking. So word to you and your mother's brother and everyone. Okay, I'm just gonna mention this. If you didn't see the Devolver Digital pre-show, go watch it, because it is the most beautiful piece of acid trip performance art you will ever see in your life. It's beautiful and amazing and hilarious and what? And go watch it. Just do it. Just do it. Sony showed off some really cool new stuff, particularly some DLC for Uncharted. They showed more of Lost Legacy, which looks really awesome, and also DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn, which people were super excited for because Horizon Zero Dawn. They also showed off more of the new God of War game, and it looks like maybe we're causing Ragnarok. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't play a lot of the God of War games, so I'm not really sure. But it looks really cool, and I like what they showed of it. Also, they showed off the new Spider-Man game. Oh, and that looks amazing. It looks very Arkham from what a lot of people have said, but I don't even care. If I can just swing around the city and run on walls and stuff, I would absolutely love that. Ubisoft delighted with Mario and Rabbids, particularly the sassy Peach Rabbid, who threw major shade at Princess Peach, like just walked up to her and was just like, "Oh, you dress like that? Oh, that's sad. All right, I'm gonna go take a selfie." And it was just amazing. Like, there are a lot of games at this point that I would love to buy a Switch for, but that Mario Rabbids game, I would absolutely buy a Switch for. It just looked delightful and hilarious. Go watch some trailers for it if you haven't. It looks, just delightful. Mario and Rabbids, guys. It's great. All right, and rounding out the day with Nintendo, who had some major announcements that I don't think anyone was really expecting, starting with Metroid Prime 4. So, for all of you Metroid fans out there, you know what a big deal this is. For all of those out there who are not Metroid fans, it has been a decade, at least, probably, since the last major Metroid game. And this conference was actually full of games that hadn't been seen for a while, that were suddenly getting new games in the series. And so everyone was just like, oh, but Metroid won't. Wouldn't you love, with all of these like revamped games, that they would just like announce a new Metroid game? Wouldn't that be amazing? But Nintendo won't. And then they did, and everyone was just like, what? It was exciting. And of course, the other major thing was that they showed off more of Super Mario Odyssey, which is looking great. They showed off a lot of New Donk City and its mayor, Pauline, who, if you didn't know, was Mario's girlfriend from the original Donkey Kong games. And she's like the mayor and the leader of an amazing jazz band now. The Super Mario theme, guys. If you haven't listened to the Super Mario Odyssey theme, it's Pauline singing "Let's Do the Odyssey" / "I Can Be Your One-Up Girl." Go listen to it. As a fan of jazz music, it is the most amazing piece of like video game theme I've ever heard. Can I play it? Can I play it on this video right now? Will that get like copyrighted? I don't do these for money. Can I play it? I might try. We'll see. Maybe I'll play a little bit of it here. Maybe. I don't know. But oh, it's so good. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it, because it's ridiculous. I apologize for almost shortening that word. Moving on. And wrapping things up with this week's opinion piece, I want to know, what did you like about E3? Was it something I mentioned here? Was it something I didn't mention? What got you super excited about this conference? I want to know, because there was so much good stuff here. Tell me what got you excited. And that pretty much wraps up gaming news for this week. So, I hope you guys enjoyed yet another episode of Hanging with Janky. If you did, you can leave those likes down below. Comments, as I said, positive, negative, feel free to leave those below as well. But more than anything, I hope you have a lovely day, evening, or whatever you happen to be watching. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this is Janky Shenanigans, signing out.